exploring the hips today, you maybe need a couple of props. A belt, it doesn't have to be like a specific yoga belt as such, you can have any belt that you want, as long as it's got a little bit of length to it, the longer the better. And I've got blocks, but you can use cushions, pillows, anything that gives you a little bit of a raise, especially for the first long developmental stretch that we're going to do today. Make sure you've had a really good warm up, the body's nice and warm, maybe got a little bit of a sweat on as well at the same time, got that core muscle temperature up. We're going to go through a little bit more of an extended warm up. So we'll come into our down facing dog first of all, so find that position, both feet together, pin the ankles in, heels come down towards the floor. Don't worry if you can't get them there. And we're just going to go left foot into the sky, left foot in between the hands. Drop the back heel down. So we're going to come into a position with our feet as if we were going into a warrior stance. Alright, warrior position. Bring the hips round so we're square onto the front of the mat, and then bring the hands above the head. Have the palms facing forwards, and you're going to create this little arch through the back, not too much. Hands come down, left foot comes back. Breathe out there, right foot comes into the sky, same thing. If you plant it in the right place, you just be able to drop that back heel, open up, keep the hips forwards, push that front knee outwards, squeeze through the quads on the back leg and open up, big fascial stretch there. Hands back down, into down facing dog, breathe it out. Left foot again, we'll do this a few times either side. Square the hips off, rise up, arms come back a little bit more, squeeze through the bum cheek on the back leg, hands come down, back in the downward facing dog. Right foot into the sky, we'll do one more on either side once we've done this one. Up with the hands, sink through the hips a little bit further, hands come down, back in, left foot up, drop the back heel, open up again, all the way through, a little bit deeper with the hips. Try to keep the weight on the heel and the front foot though, don't lose your form. Right foot forwards for the last time, raise up into the sky, keep the hips square on, and both hands down either side, this front foot. Take the knees all the way to the outside of the mat, big toes to touch, and then sit down into this posture and walk the stomach down towards the floor. Stretch those arms out. Don't worry too much about with the arms at the moment. We're not opening up through the shoulders. That's our main area of focus today. It's in the hips. So keep walking down, shuffling down the stomach towards the floor. Hands come back. Knees in. Tuck the toes. Back into your down facing dog. And you go left foot up and then bend the knee and open out. So open out there. Create a little bit of a bigger stretch. Warming even deeper into the hips now. Try and keep the arms square on. Try not to twist up. Just opening through the hip and that's it. Left foot comes down. Open up with that right hip this time. Keep the toes on that bottom foot. Firmly facing towards the front of the mat. Then right foot comes down there. Drop onto the knees. Come now our first long pose here. Big hip opener. Basically, you can use this line of the mat, and that's what I'm going to do. What you're trying to look for is, and you'll understand what I mean in a second, is like a triangle shape from where your groin is up towards the crease of either elbow. Now I'm going to place my lower part of my left leg right along the side of this mat, and you can take a block or you can take something and just raise it up first of all if you want to, and because maybe your hips are really tight. So bring it into the right place where you feel actually there is a little bit of comfort there, and it doesn't feel too intense just having your left leg down, because you haven't really even got into the stretch yet. You take the right foot, and where you're trying to reach it to is you're trying to reach it up onto the other knee. Now that's quite hard, and as you can see there, I can't get my knee down towards my foot, but over time actually the longer we stay in the stretch, the easier we can, the more we'll get out of it. And you'll find, especially for me here, that I can end up at the starting point, I can't push down my knee towards my foot. But by the end of the stretch, I probably will be able to, and that just shows you the amount of progression that you can get from being in these stretches. Now, I can put that underneath there, that gives me a little bit more alleviation through this point of my knee. Don't worry if you can't place the foot onto the top of the knee here. You can bring it a little bit further down through the lower leg, and that may ease it slightly. You've still got a sort of a triangle in between the leg here and the groin towards the knees. I'm going to stay down in this position, and you're just creating a slight bit of downward pressure. It's not a lot. You're literally just resting your arm on there, and you're letting time do its job. By staying here for a longer period of time, the body will start to let us get a little bit more. And I can feel my hips now on the outsides. They just want to stop this. They want to stop me going into this. So I have to really consciously let go into the stretch. If you make that conscious decision to do that, just to let go, let the relaxation kick in, let the breath kick in, and as a result, you'll start to get down a little bit further. You can see me there from where I started. Just by having that little bit of weight from my arm, it's starting to creep down towards the other foot. And hopefully, in another 30 seconds or so, I'll be pretty much down there towards my foot. If you feel like it's too much on your outside of your hip, then feel free just to come into like a normal cross-leg position, wait it out, maybe try the other side. If it's tighter on one side compared to the other, then you've got a big indicator there of a side that you need to try and work upon, maybe from the external rotators of the hip. And I'm pretty much down there towards that other foot now. Alright, take the hands out, slowly bring the legs to the front, give them a shake out. I'm going to set up the position for the other side. I'm going to take my right leg, use this mat as a guideline, create that first half of the triangle that I'm trying to make, and then bring the other foot on top. Again, if you want to, and that feels too intense for you again, you can put a block here, but you really want to try and support this side first of all, and then start working through here. And if it just feels a little bit too much and you don't really even want to have your hand on there, then just have it here to start with, let the body get used to the position, and then you can start inching your way down towards the other foot. I'm more tight on this side. And you're going to maybe get a little bit of torsion through the knee, so try not to press too hard. It's not about trying to increase the length through your lateral collateral ligament or any of the ligaments in the knee. It's more about trying to open up through the hips. And I know this doesn't feel particularly nice, but this is where we will get a lot of progression from through the outer hip. Stay there for another 45 seconds. Keep breathing out. Let gravity do its job. Maybe have the arm on, maybe not. Just let it stay there. Always trying to keep an upright posture as well. Never slumping forwards. Another 20 seconds. Just a few more breaths. See there, a lot more of a gap, that left hand side. Slowly but surely bring the legs out again towards the front, give them a shake off, and then come over onto your back. Have your belt nearby, because the next pose that we're going to do is going to involve that. lie on your back and interlink your fingers behind your left knee, and then start to kick out the foot above you. Don't stress if you can't straighten the leg out like I'm doing here. It takes a fair bit of hamstring flexibility to do that. It's actually a test that I've used before when I'm doing exercise rehabilitation called the 90-90 test. So trying to see hamstring length here. Most people will get around here, but optimally you want to have that full 90 degrees at the hip, straight leg at the top. Keep going up and down there. Alright, take your strap. I want you to find the mid-foot. So right in the middle of the foot. And what you'll do here is you'll bring the leg down until you can actually straighten out through the whole of the leg. So let's just say you get to this point, that's fine. Start to wrap my hands around the strap and just hold there for a couple of seconds. You can go active on this bottom leg, and I want you to start pulling in with the arms. You can even scooch the hands up a little bit further, and you're going to hold here. So don't pull in too hard, too quickly, because your body will react and go, nah, you're not going any further there. And then over time, the body will relax. You'll get a little bit further. I'm right at my limit there, so I'm just going to stay here for a few seconds. I'm starting to get a little bit more from the body. It's letting me get further down. Keep pulling in. Two more breaths. One more. Bend the knee. Put the strap down to one side of the belt. Just pump that leg through a couple of times. And drop down next to the right. Interlink your fingers behind the right leg and start to create that same action, extending the leg, keeping the toes pointing down and trying to turn the little toe towards the head as well. Just do a few more of those. Inhale, exhale down. All the way to the top. Grab the strap onto the foot. Wrap down to a place that obviously you're comfortable with. If you're back down here, don't worry about it. I'm going to wrap up. I'm going to hold here. And to start off with, it can feel quite neural. The sciatic nerve runs right down the back of the leg here. So all the way from your spinal cord. It innervates a lot of the leg. So as soon as the body gets used to that again, you have to work into it. And you're just literally moving millimeters, but every single time you're getting more, bringing the leg over again. Moving deeper into the stretch. I've really had to work on my hamstrings. I'm a runner, and I've been running for a long time, and I'm very posterior chain, which is good. My hamstrings were really, really tight, and it's taken me a while to work into them. Take 2 more breaths there. And it does take time, but if you're persistent with it, it'll start to let go. Release the strap. A couple of pumps through either side. I've got 2 alternatives for the next stretch. This is a stretch that I've made up, and it's a good glute stretch, but you need to also have a fair bit of range through the front of your thigh. If you can't sit back onto your heels, then you may have issues with this one. Basically what I'm doing is I'm crossing my right leg over with my other foot underneath. You can go over there, the toes tucked if you want to. It's probably not going to be as comfortable depending on how your ankle range of movement is here. If that's too much, then you can go onto your 90-90 stretch here and try and bring your weight down over this front thigh. But if you're a little bit further along, we can do this. We sit back onto the heel, bring the right foot on top. You plant that into place and you're trying to rotate that right knee outwards, and then you're bringing your weight forwards. I'll show you another angle from there. You'll open out through the outer hip on the right hand side. It's all about, again, keeping posture. I'm not losing my posture. It's not about trying to get your head down as low. It's trying to create a flat back and move further down there, as I'm doing here. I'm trying to flatten the back off as much as you can. You will feel that release. Tight through your quads, this might be, and through the front of your foot, this might be a very awkward position for you. So, as I said before, if you want to go into the 90-90, or if you know pigeon pose, then go into the pigeon pose. Two more breaths. Keep the chest up. I was starting to sag a little bit there. Now raise up, hands come down, move around with that right hip a couple of times, and sit back onto the opposite leg. Sit back onto the right heel, left foot comes over the top, straight away again. As I said before, left hip is tighter here. You have to think, why am I tighter on this side? Now I know I do a fair bit of running, and it's maybe for me, what I think is that when I've got towards the end of the run, maybe I'm not firing through my glute max as well as I should, and then the external rotators of the hip have to work a little bit harder to stabilise through the outer hip. Or it could be a case that they're a little bit weak, my external rotators on my left hand side compared to my right, and as they get to a point where they've had enough, then they start to come into a more of a spasm state, more of a fatigue state, which means it's harder to stretch out as a result. You're always going to try and work out why musculature is tight. Don't just take it as a given, like, I'm tight through my outer hip. Why am I tighter through the outer hip? Always questioning, but then also trying to rectify that as well. Don't just go to your usual stretches because you like doing them. Try and do the stretches that you know are going to benefit you the most. Just a couple more breaths there. Release out of that. Come over onto your knees again. Have a wind through with that left hip. Two more big hip openers. This is a great one if you want to improve your squat depth. All you're doing, maybe about 1 foot's distance away from the wall. If you're really tight for your ankles, then maybe putting a couple of blocks underneath your heels to raise them up so you can get down. That'll help you out. I'm just going to sit my body down onto the wall here. Walk my feet a little bit further. Walk my body down. I've got a flat back. So for me that feels really comfortable. That may be enough for you, but what you can do from here is taking your elbows to the inside of the knees and then pushing the hands down as the palms are together. The knees come out and you're trying to flatten the back off. So you're trying to push the lower back in towards the wall. You'll start to feel that open up through the groins. You're just going to stay here. Just going to stay here. Nothing different. But keep trying to increase that stretch by, rather than letting the bum tuck underneath, try and turn it the other way. Tilt the pelvis forwards. Got one more stretch of this. I'm going to leave the best till last. We'll do one sun salutation after this. Let the hips have a bit of a break and then move on to the last one. Just keep down. Keep on with the stretch. A few more breaths. 1. 2. 3. Slowly release the knees, come down onto this all four position. Again, move around with one hip, around with the other. And here we go for the final stretch. I'm going to take my knees all the way to the outside of the mat, feet directly behind my knees. I'm going to come onto my forearms. You don't have to do that, you can stay on your hands if you want to. The main point of this stretch is though, again, not allowing yourself to tuck like this, but tilt the pelvis like you have now. We need to turn the feet outwards. So keeping the feet directly behind the knees, but the toes are pointing outwards. And you're going to use your elbows to shift the weight back and sit down further. Very similar to the last stretch that we did. Keep tilting the pelvis, sinking back. If you want to make this more intense, then you can go sideways at the mat. So if you just stay there, I'll show you a different alternative. You can go wider with the knees, feet come out, elbows down, and then you sit back into the stretch. I'm going to stay here. If you feel like the other stretch isn't giving you much, then come into this wide leg position. And this will definitely hit it. If you've got your groin down to the floor, well done. You are definitely flexible through your inner groin. This is another area for me that I've had to work on a lot and I'm still working on, is my inner groin. Keep sinking back. So another 45 seconds there. Last stretch. Always sinking the bum back, keeping that flat back position, tilting the hips forwards. 5 breaths or so. 1, 2, 3, 2 more, 4, last breath, come on. Come forwards out of it slowly, walk your elbows forwards, And then bring the knees in. Just start pumping back and forwards, opening through the hip into a, looks like a upward facing dog, but we've got our knees down towards the floor. Bring the blood back into the hips. Take a move around either side. There we have it. That is the last hip opening session for this week. Well done. It's tough.